think that you kind of hit on the head of the fact that it's starting to look like everything else. And when I say everything else, I'm talking about exotic cars, right? We're talking about McLarens, Ferraris, and things that cost, well, 3, 4, 5 times the price. But in that regard, at least their performance can back it up. And admittedly, from a value perspective, it is the best bang for your buck. And they're really hitting the nail on the head with that messaging.
Michael, what do you think here? Is this going to move the needle for Chevrolet and by extension then for General Motors, or are the sales of Corvettes so relatively tiny and insignificant? I mean, that's maybe too strong a word, that it won't make a difference?
It is a small portion. I think, you know, the excitement to me doesn't come financially. You're talking about a product that maybe generates $3 billion in revenue for General Motors, you know, in North America, where you have $150 billion revenue base. The excitement comes for what it helps the employees, the dealers, just the excitement generated within the organization, pushing the envelope on technology, pushing the envelope on performance. It creates a halo for the entire brand. And to me, that's the more important part of the Corvette.
I understand that, Michael, but it seems like a high price to pay to generate some excitement amongst your employees and dealers.
Well, not really. If you look at General Motors from a standpoint, the car by itself, if it's $3 billion in revenue, it will make money. And so if you think about the advertising budgets that these guys have within their organizations, you know, $7, $8, $10 billion a year, if you can create that much excitement with a brand, I think it's very important. In addition to what you learn from material, engineering, performance, and everything else that goes along with it, every General Motors employee will look at that product with pride.
Ivan, I would imagine that whenever you take a classic car like the Corvette and you introduce sort of a new version of it, that you're going to have people who love it and you're going to have enthusiasts who hate it. And so I'm wondering if this response to the new Corvette is anything like you've seen before when it comes to taking an old car, updating it and putting it back out in the public.
Really, I think you're right in the sense that you could almost put anything out there and you will get mixed reactions. Then again, though, on this one, you really have very polarizing. You have people who are so die-hard, old school, manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, front engine, very traditional, but that whole segment's dying off. And they really are trying to take it forward with this new approach. The mid-engine, it is like the other exotics in that sense, but at the same time, the folks that they're trying to go forward with and the folks they're trying to gravitate towards, they are going to look at this as a more viable product. But are you going to get the Porsche files or the BMW die-hard fanatics? That's going to be a little tougher. I think that sometimes when it's such a value proposition play, it kind of takes away from the lure and luster of, the luxury component. So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is when we start to see, like, the trade-in data. What are people buying, what they're putting into it, what the trim levels that come out and how much they're going to pay once we know they start releasing, the higher ends, the ZR1, Z06s, things of that nature.